Okay, looks like we are in fact live. I just wanted to test a few things out. Let's go over to the game. It's been a while since I've played this. I cannot check chat today, so yeah, I'm not going to be checking chat as often. I'm sorry for everyone who's joining in. And also, early stream! Yeah, I had time, and it's just like, hey, this isn't how I normally stream, but, well, in more ways than one, just with the time frame, what I'm streaming, because it's been a while since I played this game, and where I'm streaming, so yeah, so if sounds are weird, just that's the reason why. I've got an odd setup today. I can't remember what happened last time. We're in the underground facility. This is our stats from last time. Let's hopefully we can go through chapter 3 without killing anybody. Very nice. We follow Marcus into what I can only describe as a control room of sorts. There are countless computer screens, some of which are obviously coming back on from having been shut off. Everything looks extremely complicated, from screens filled with codes and data to what is obviously a security system. It reminds me of a miniaturized version of the Operations Center in just about every space travel movie I've ever seen. Marcus is running from one screen to another, apparently looking for some pertinent bit of information. "Where's the first aid kit?" I snap at him. Marcus stops in his tracks, as if he's forgotten the whole reason for bringing us down here. "Oh yeah," he says, rushing to the left side of the room. There, he hunkers down by an open panel in the wall, what I assume is the emergency vault from where he got the rifle. I'm gonna go ahead and pull up chat. But while I'm doing that, guys, you can go ahead and say which one you'd rather see. Well, which choice? I'm pretty much gonna go with either the popular choice or just which one seems to fit for the moment. Depending. Also, while I'm here, Katie, Ice Cream, Mike, Q Pikachu, Eli, hello, welcome. Hopefully your day or night's been going well, depending on your time zone. Here we go. So we have the choice to look at the computer monitors. That wasn't even close to words. Or peer into the open vault. I guess it would be interesting to see what's on the monitors, so I'm kind of leaning towards that one. Be sneaky and look in the vault. Look at the monitors. I think we'll go with the vault. I am curious to see what's in there and if the guy's hiding anything. Can't necessarily trust Marcus. I peer over Marcus's shoulder into the vault he's open. It's much larger than it looks from the outside. It's partially filled with file folders marked classified, a few rounds of ammo for the rifle, a peculiar plastic kit filled with syringes, and a locked black box. As Marcus digs around, one of the folders slip open. For the split second it's open, I see a scanned document and a color photo. The photo shows a male corpse with its guts on the outside of its body as if it has been turned inside out. There's also massive swelling on his head, almost like his skull is about to explode. Marcus slaps the folder closed, and then I turn my attention to one of the syringes. It's filled with a violet-colored fluid that, while rather pretty in color, looks deadly. Marcus finally pulls out the first aid kit and turns around. When I look back to motion Dennis over, he's paler than ever. "Come on," I tell him, but he's not moving from the place on the floor where he sits against the wall. I slide the first aid kit over to him and go scrambling to his side. Between the struggle for the rifle upstairs and arriving into this room, he's faded fast. I struggle to lift his shirt up and then over his shoulders as the dried blood holds it in place. The mere act causes him to grimace. This might hurt a little, I tell Dennis. He only nods. He doesn't seem to care. I choose both. Well, I scream if you do draw that. I would love to see it. Okay. Let's rip the shirt off quickly. Levi, hello, welcome. Hopefully your day or night's been going well depending on your time zone. Yeah, I understand. Thank you for dropping by, even though it's a quick hello. It's been a while since we've seen you, so it's good to see you. Hopefully you enjoy school. And don't watch live streams during school. During school, don't do that. I'm gonna rip off the shirt quickly. It's like a band-aid. Figuring that old rip off a band-aid metaphor applies here, I tear the shirt off him quickly. Plus, I don't feel like we exactly have a lot of time. Dennis lets out a scream of pain and fury. What the hell, man? Sorry, I say, casting the bloody shirt aside for a moment. When sitting in pain, he leans back against the wall and takes a series of deep breaths. His wound is more visible now, although it's partially hidden by the blood that has started to clot around it. It's probably not a good idea we rip the shirt off now that I think about it. My medical knowledge is slim, basically just a bunch of basics I learned in Boy Scouts. I looked over to Marcus, hopefully, and asked, "You have any training?" "Zero," he says. "Sorry." It's just as well, I guess. He's far too concerned with what's happening on the monitors to be much help anyway. I start by taking out several rolls of gauze within the kit and wipe as much blood as I can away from the wound on his side. It's even worse than I had figured from the start. The gash is deep and dark. I'm pretty sure it's infected too. He's going to need stitches, that's for sure, but I have no idea how to even start that. Besides, I don't see the tools for it in the kit. When I splash rubbing alcohol over the wound, he responds with a hoarse yelp of surprise, but nothing more. His eyes are locked on me, and he looks appreciative, but he's also scared. Be honest, Dennis says hopefully. How bad does it look? You think I'll live? Sadly, I don't have any social media yet, just YouTube. Rip shirt off. Oh, Clorix Bleach, hello, welcome. Hopefully your day has been going well depending on time zone. Don't watch live streams during school. Thank you for stopping by, though. Let's see. It's probably not a great idea we ripped off the shirt because of how much skin was on there. That could cause the wound to bleed even more, but too late. I will also go ahead and lie, saying he'll be fine. Because you know what? It's better for the patient. Good to know, he says. Because I sure don't feel like that. You've been through hell, I say. I think it feels worse than it actually looks. Thanks. That's a relief. I won't lie to you. I won't lie. You're gonna have a scar, I say, trying to be funny. He chuckles a bit, but there's no humor in it. He rests his head against the wall and closes his eyes as I finish up. I place one layer of gauze against the wound as I bind it with medical tape. And then I reinforce it with a second layer. I know it's meager, but it's all I can do. Thanks, Roger, he says, actually managing to force out a smile. I feel a lot better. I think I'll be fine. I'm not so sure about that, but I'm glad I was able to encourage him. Finally, I patch up the bruise on my head a bit, cursing myself again for not grabbing my hard hat. I look back to Marcus as he's looking back at us, deep in thought. Are these first aid kits all you have in the facility? I ask him. If there's something better, I don't know about it, he says. I notice then that his defensive posture is no longer there. Something is different now. Just a slight change to his demeanor. He's seen something on those monitors that had him frightened more than he already was before. What is it? I ask. What's wrong? His eyes travel to the room, and it's obvious that he's trying to decide whether or not to tell me the truth. When school is still on, but you left for a field trip, dude. It's okay. Don't watch live streams if you're if you're at school, man. Let's see. I guess we could get up and look at the monitors. I don't think he's gonna necessarily tell us. Then again, You know what? Yeah, I think we're just gonna get up. Also, Mr. Mudcake, hello, welcome. Hopefully your day and night's been going well, depending on your time zone. How have you been? Rather than wait for him, I get up and scan the screens behind him, seeing if I can find any clues that I had missed moments ago. After a few moments, I see a few things that I can comprehend hidden in the complex information of most of the screens. On one screen, I see what looks like a power meter that is slowly climbing upwards. A single message is flashing beneath it. It reads, "Unexpected power failures for an entity." Another message trickling across the bottom of a black screen says, "Safety locks on level 3 containment doors engaged. Override?" I still see screens of a few other... I see still scenes on a few other screens that I assume are security cameras showing hallways and passages from elsewhere in the facility. One of them shows the first level hallway we were on just a few minutes ago. Another shows a hallway I don't recognize. The floor is covered in blood. From just off the screen, I see what might be a human body, but it's bent in an impossible way. It looks like the body's legs and torso has somehow been merged or melted into the floor. What's wrong with the systems, or what happened to that person there? I think we can tell what happened to the systems. There's a reboot. But I think I'm gonna go with what happened to that person there. Because again, the systems, there was some power outage. Well, we don't know what happened with the power outage. I'm gonna go to my next place. Jenny, hi! How are you doing? And hopefully the interviews have been going well for you. Let's ask what happened to the person. I have no idea. I didn't see it, he says. Whatever happened to that guy must have happened in the last minute or so. What the hell, I ask. There's something still happening? Are we still in danger? He turns away, clearly fearing he has already said too much. And as bad as that is, there's a scene on another monitor that makes my blood go cold and my fear spike to levels somewhere near terror. The scene is very familiar. It's the logging site. The equipment is unmistakably mine. I can even see my trucks. Something like fury starts to rise in my guts, momentarily pushing aside the fear. For a moment, I consider just tearing into him. A few punches and a shove against the wall, nothing more. I want answers, I want them now, but I'm not sure which would provide more answers, asking calmly or kicking his ass. Oh, really well, I think. That's awesome, Jenny! Keep me updated! Got a pink mug filled with tea? Dude, that sounds amazing ice cream, I'm jealous. It's weird on my phone. Oh, okay, that's awesome. I don't know, he doesn't seem to necessarily go well with us being aggressive, especially since last time we nearly beat him half to death. I think we should be calm about this. And that's mostly just me. I think calm is the best answer here. Could you please explain to me why you're spying on my crew? My anchor is prodding at me and I have to hold it back again. It's near the surface, demanding a release. It was part of my job, mine and a few others. Your crew has been watched ever since you set up your equipment. Why? Because you're working with heavy equipment, some of which digs into the ground less than a mile from a secret government facility. I had no idea of that, I say. How could I have known? Marcus gives me that same crooked, trembling smile that's beginning to creep me out. Because those things would draw attention to this place, he says. You have no idea how secretive this facility is. Besides, I know that the higher-ups looked into it. Your site isn't on government land. It's shy by about 300 yards. Every piece of your equipment is on private property. The timber track you purchased from Mr. Gladstone 2 months ago. So even if we wanted to intervene and keep your crew away, we couldn't have without stirring up a fuss. The fact that someone with such low-level clearance knows this much about my logging crew is unnerving. If you've been watching us, why didn't you recognize us when we met in the hallway? I ask. He shakes his head and exhales, like it's obvious. The cameras have a bird-eye view. I can't see faces, we just track bodies and names. Let's ask calmly. He actually gave us some answers. So you have all this surveillance. Do you know where the rest of my crew is? I do my best to keep my voice level, even though my impulse is to shout. Well, Marcus says, all of you were on site as usual before the incident. It's been a few hours since I checked, though. They might have come near the facility, or maybe not. I don't know. He says this casually, like it's not important. Well, are they inside the facility? I ask. You have cameras everywhere, right? Do you see them? Marcus shakes his head. I've been looking all over and I haven't seen your crew. They aren't here. But, he adds, the lower levels don't have any cameras. Classified. I'm not sure how they would have gotten there, but it's a possibility. I'm still shocked that we were being watched. Do they know everything about us? I'm telling you, Marcus says. The depth of influence in this facility goes deep. There are 36 employees down here. Outside of those employees, only 5 other people knows this place exists. Ask calmly. What do all these people do here, I ask, keeping my voice level. He doesn't even pause to consider if he should go any further. He actually laughs when he gives me the answer. Honestly, don't know everything. Probably very little. What I do know is that there's more than Black Ops. What does that mean, I ask. There are scientists here who have been disowned by their own governments because of the nature of their work. Do you get it now? I don't. Not at all. But I don't want him to know that. You say there are 36 employees, I say. Where are they now? He shakes his head. As far as I know, everyone else is gone. Gone where? He points to the screen that still informs us of the unexpected power failure and cringes. If the power failure was not corrected in time, there's no telling. But they're here in the facility somewhere, right? I ask, hoping someone will be able to help Dennis better than I can. I just don't know, Marcus says. They could be anywhere. Look, I say, furious with the way he's talking in riddles. I don't... Oh, God, Dennis says. I look over to him and he looks as pale as a ghost. He stood up and his eyes are locked on the monitor closest to him. What? I ask. He simply points to the monitor and then looks away. I look to the monitor and see the logging site, but more specifically, I see the overturned dozer and the legs sticking out from under it. It's wearing work boots, right where I left him. Tony. The fact his death seems abstract, almost like it happened in some other world or a very long time ago. I know you already told me he was gone, Dennis whispers, but it's different actually seeing him. My God. Suddenly something blazes by the open door. The shape is fast and in shadow, but I'm pretty sure it's a person. If something bad happened at the facility, then surely the sight of another survivor is a good thing, right? We should check it out, he says. I realize this isn't the best moment to leave Dennis after revisiting Tony's death all over again. Someone just ran by the door, I tell him. Hopefully it's someone who can help us. Are you going to be okay, or we'll be right back? Let's see. Hi, Sam, are you still here? I didn't notice you. Let's see. I like Doritos. Keep up the good work, CC. Oh, for a literal second. Oh, okay. MLG, hello, welcome. Peyton, hello, welcome as well. Hopefully your day or night's been going well, depending on your time zone. It's an early stream, guys. Let's see. We'll be right back. It's fine. Go see who it is, he says, giving me a mock thumbs up. I turn to Marcus and motion for us to head out to investigate. Let's be careful, Marcus says. Depending on who it is, they might not be as hesitant to shoot a stranger as I was. I nod at him and head for the door. I'm still holding the rifle in my hand, and I don't know if I have the guts to actually use it if needed. With a final look back to Dennis, I run out into the second-level hallway. Sorry, Dennis, we just don't have the time. Could be someone helpful. Lovely. Marcus follows. There is still fear in his eyes, but also the slightest glimmer of hope. That hope is contagious. We take off after the figure that just ran past the command center. Ahead of us, the facility presents yet another long hallway. Right away, I notice that this level of the facility seems even darker though the lights are now all on. The hallway is adorned with numbers, yellow doorways, and large white panels along the walls. It's clean and well maintained, but there's something ominous about it. Up ahead, I see the fleeting motion of something dark, cutting quickly to the left down a corridor. There, I say quietly, pointing up ahead. Marcus gives a nod, and we continue chasing after the person we saw blazed by the command center just moments ago. It then occurs to me that this person could be like Marcus was at first, armed and scared. Armed and scared. Then maybe we should move towards them slowly. Shouting at them might just give them hey, there's someone behind me. But that also may just scare the hell out of them and cause them to shoot us. So I'm gonna say move towards them slowly. Hopefully they don't see that as threatening. When we reach the intersection in the hall where I'd seen the shadow moving, I ease around the corner, just in case. Sure, I have the rifle in my hands, but I don't want to use it unless I have to. I quickly dart around the corner and take the same shooting stance I've seen countless times on TV. There's a woman standing there, about 10 feet away. She has reddish blonde hair, a small, mousy build. She looks terrified and is visibly shaking. She's probably in her late 30s, wearing a lab coat with dark jeans and green Converse low tops. I have a strange sense that her fear is not just about our sudden appearance. She looks like a woman who's been running scared for a while now. Her hands are raised in surrender. She's not holding a weapon. Marcus slowly approaches, taking a few steps ahead of me. It's Amy, right? He asks. She blinks, seemingly surprised that he knows her name. Yes, she says. And you're Marcus. She nods absently and then looks to my rifle. She's not armed. I'm not going to use it. Now, how do I know that? She asks. You're trespassing on government property in the midst of a huge catastrophic event, and you have a rifle. How am I supposed to believe you? I have a friend back in the command center who needs medical attention, I say, and we're looking for the rest of our crew. I'm really sorry, but I don't know where they are, she says. Do you know about what's happened? Marcus asked. From the power outage? I don't know what caused it, she says. But there was an experiment taking place when the outage occurred. Something happened and... She trails off, giving me a look of distrust. I saw things on the security monitors, Marcus says. The experiment failed, didn't it? I don't know the specifics, Amy says. I barely escaped the third floor. I was going to go to the command center to see if the security footage showed anything, but then I saw you and the gun. Listening to their conversation, I'm feeling totally in the dark. Let me go ahead and move just a bit, because again, sound is going to be a little weird on my end because I'm streaming differently, but what has you so scared? Amy looks to me, her eyes wide and terrified. Who are you anyways? She asks. I quickly give her my story. A logger stranded in the woods following a peculiar explosion at the logging site. As I tell her, recognition blooms in her eyes. You're one of the loggers? Yes. She then looks to Marcus and says, I thought they were being watched. They were, Marcus says. This was a freak accident, and there's no proof that they were responsible. I feel myself wanting to submit to all questions that are piling in my head, but Dennis is waiting for me. We gotta get that medical help as soon as possible. It's bad enough we kind of abandoned Dennis. I decide that despite my curiosity, I need to get Dennis help as soon as humanly possible. Look, is there any medical help that to be had here or not? I ask. Probably, Amy says. But you'd have to find Colonel Barksdale. He knows where all of those sorts of supplies are. And where is he? Where's everyone else? I ask. At this, Amy starts to weep. She falls to her knees as if someone had struck her from behind. Gone, she says. Some were killed and some were... I don't know. They disappeared right in front of me. Disappeared right in front of you? Huh. Disappeared. Yes, she answered. They were here 1 second and gone the next. Just... She snaps her fingers together for effect. Gone. Something's here with us, Amy says. We were conducting an experiment and it all went horribly wrong. Something came through. Came through what? Marcus asks. Don't even know that much. An entity. But whatever it is, it's still here somewhere. Amy responds. How could you not know? Don't you have full security access? I ask. No, I have access to almost everything, but there are 2 levels of security beyond my clearance. So what do you suggest we do now? I ask. I'm not sure, she says, wiping her tears away. But if you want to find your crew, we need to find Barksdale. He's in charge. Where is he? I ask. Down on the 3rd level, in the hangar. Then, let's go, I say. It's not that easy, Amy says again, looking to the rifle in my hands. Why not? Like I said, something came through when the power went out. There's several of them, all roaming the 3rd level. What came through? All I know that the others refer to them as entities. Amy shudders and she recalls the horror she has seen. I don't even know how to describe them. I didn't get a good look, she says. All I did was run for my life. Behind me, I just heard screams. I know it's not very scientific of me, but I didn't feel like sticking around to learn more. She's right, Marcus says, stopping my train of thought. Things I saw on the monitors. It was crazy. This is insane, I bark. I'm going to the 3rd level to find this Barksdale guy. Thank you for your help. Wait, Marcus says. I'm sticking with you. If we want to get out of here, we have to find Barksdale, right? Yes, Amy says. But Barksdale's on the 3rd floor, and it's too dangerous to go back there. I figure I'll let them make their own decisions. In the meantime, I start heading back to the command center to get Dennis. Before I get there, I hear their footfalls behind me, getting closer. I give Amy a questioning look as she quickly looks away, clearly torn. Neither one of you know your way around here, she says. Looking for Barksdale on your own would be suicide. Like it or not, she has a point. Fine, I say. Then let's get Dennis from the command center and head down together. What the hell is going on in this place? Also, I really hope Dennis doesn't die. We're gonna run into those things and I'm gonna have to sacrifice him, huh? I hope that doesn't happen. We enter the command center and I'm happy to see that Dennis has regained some of his color. We're going to get you some help, I tell him. And then we're going to find our crew and get the hell out of here. More help would be great, he says. With the way you ripped off my shirt earlier, I'm not letting you touch me again. Wait, Amy says. Maybe one of us should stay here with him. I'll be okay, Dennis says. He stands to his feet with a grunt. You don't know what's out there, Amy says. I saw them. I saw what they can do. This facility is not safe. Are there any of them on this floor? That's the most important question here. I don't know what they can do, but are they here? I'm not sure, she says, but they are down on the 3rd floor, so we'll need to be careful. Marcus looks a little hesitant, but nods in agreement, and the 4 of us exit the command center. Heading back into the hallway, I look back to the monitors. I take a final look at the screen that shows my wrecked logging site and feel a pang of sorrow. Then I look to the other monitor showing live feeds of the facility's security cameras. I try to tell myself that I'm not looking for any signs of Amy's creatures, but I can't. That's exactly what I'm doing, and there's no need to pretend otherwise. We head back through the hall and towards the elevator. The tension exists between us is like a physical presence. This isn't good. Okay. We step inside the elevator and those pristine doors close. Inside the elevator, Amy seems to become much more guarded and distant from us. I want to assure her that I mean her no harm, but I'm also not going to put the rifle down. So, you have pretty high clearance in this place, right? I ask her. That's right. So what kind of experiment are we talking about? What went wrong? She starts to answer my question. I can tell that there's something of a relief for her to get it off of her chest. There's been a lot of work on a project taking place here over the last 30 years or so. The purpose is to find out if there's any real viable science behind point-to-point. What is that word? Instantation. Like teleporting? I ask. Oh my god, Marcus says. I had no idea. I knew there was some sort of weird stuff here, but nothing this insane. It's really not all that insane, Amy says. We found our first major breakthrough about 9 months ago. We were able to transport a live rat from its cage on level 3 to a small lab in New Mexico. The trip took the rat 5 seconds. Are you kidding me? Dennis says. I can tell that he wants to sound as if he's mocking the idea, but he fails. He is scared. Not at all, Amy says. The problem was that when the rat arrived, its retinas were detached and the intestines were on the outside of its body. That sounds familiar. Did you ever perfect it? Well, about 6 months ago, we successfully made the same experiment. The rat arrived in great health, and this time in just 3 seconds. Still, one of the things that we needed to tweak in order to make the process completely safe was how to figure out how to keep the subject on a straight course. When the matter is being transported, not only are its atoms being unknit and then put back together upon arrival. Unknit? Yes, deconstructed and translated through space. It's the only way we know how to do it right now. But the issue, as I said, it comes in keeping the deconstructed subject on a straight course to its destination. When the process occurs, we're deforming space-time. We are creating a shortcut through space, and that has risks. Why exactly? Dennis asks. Because there's so many more dimensions in this space than the 3 we exist on, she explains. There's some evidence that there are as many as 10. So, when you send the rat to New Mexico, it's traveling through another dimension to get there, I ask. Basically. Because of that, we're trying to get a better understanding of what those other dimensions are capable of. Things that a great deal of the population would be scared of if they knew what we were doing. Hence all the privacy. Then today, the power went out as we were right in the middle of an experiment. Something happened. What? I don't know. She's speaking with the authority of someone who knows what she's talking about. Let's see if Is that why those creatures are here? That's my assumption, she says. I wasn't present for the experiment. I'm not cleared for such things, but I do get the reports. What reports? Marcus asks. I'm given access to the results of the tests. In other words, Marcus replies, clearly upset, you guys have been peeking into other dimensions and taking notes of what you see. Can't believe I've wasted my life for this, he murmurs to himself. He looks like he's starting to freak out. Amy is quieter. Her expression indicates that she's waiting to see how I react to all this. Honestly, that's... Undetermined thing... Wait, what? Undetermined thing, sushi, dark thief, hello, welcome. Hopefully your day and night's been going well, depending on your time zone. Yeah, this is an early stream. I had time. I'm probably gonna get through this chapter as quickly as possible and then call the stream there. But yeah, as you can imagine, I'm not necessarily looking at chat as often. So apologize now. I'll apologize now for that. But I think that's incredible. I also think it's insane. Oh, sorry again for noise. I think it's pure insanity that you're actually doing this. Because in order to travel to another dimension, all the powers that you must be using, the fact that we are not able to actually understand the kind of physical space, I don't think that's a smart idea. It has its merits, but I think the risks are a little too much. But again, it's incredible. Yeah, goddamn, I was impressed by her work. That's incredible stuff. So, this is like interdimensional stuff, I ask? In a way, Amy answers. Marcus, on the other hand, is incredulous. I don't want anything to do with this, he says. All this time, I've been working for... He laughs cruelly at this, and the sound of it makes my blood go cold for a moment. Just a single level beneath my feet, you assholes have been tearing apart space and time, Marcus continues. When the elevator doors open, I can't get out fast enough. The tension is growing way too thick for my liking. Outside the elevator, we step into what appears to be a massive industrial area. Carnage waiting for us is unlike anything I'd seen in the upper levels. Ooh, how graphics... Okay, that's okay. I was worried it was going to get more graphic. The area looks industrial, like everything we've built was built for utility only. But more notable than all that is all the blood. My God, I've never seen so much blood. Those creatures must have had a field day. Holy shit, Marcus says, looking like a man that just awoke from a very bad dream. There were more personnel in this area when the experiment went haywire, Amy says, as if the explanation makes it all better. This research you all do down here had better be worth it, I say. We had to get moving, or we were going to lose our nerve. Amy, let's focus. Barksdale's in the hangar, I ask. If he's still alive, yes, that's where he'll be. Then let's hurry, I say. As far as I can tell, Dennis is doing much better, but I'm beginning to grow tired of trying to keep my fear at bay. Between the blood on the floor and the silence of level 3 and Amy's talk of lab rats, I'm getting freaked out. I'll go first. I think that's the best option here. I'll go first. Stay behind me. The four of us start walking ahead with me in the lead. We stop walking when we come to the remains of what looks to be 3 different people. It's hard to tell how many bodies there were because they've been torn to shreds and are distorted. 2 of the bodies look as if they've been fused together. Another man looks to have his leg wielded through the floor. I can see this man's face. He died in an abject state of horror, his mouth pried open in an eternal scream. Let's just keep going. They're dead, there's nothing we can get from them. Simply too much. Worse than that is the fact that we had just started our journey through level 3. If there's worse waiting up ahead, I don't think I'm going to be able to make it. Dennis steps beside me when he speaks. His voice is soft and flat. What in the hell could do that to someone, he asks. Things I saw, Amy answers. They could do it pretty easily, I think. She looks pale, and I think she may pass out at any moment. Tears spill from her eyes, and she's visibly shaking. But she soldiers on, looking back to me and stepping to the side of the gruesome carnage. Her eyes go again to my rifle, and she doesn't look very hopeful. You good to go? She asks me. We need to move on, but for some reason, I can't take my eyes off the scene. My mind is reeling, trying to process it all. Yeah, let's go. Let's ignore that. We don't need to think about it. We leave the grisly site behind, moving into another equally destroyed area. From what I can tell, the next room was once an open area for experimentation. This place hasn't been destroyed. It has been physically altered in a way that makes no sense. The girders look to have been warped, their very material distorted and twisted. To my right, a machine has been catapulted and looks to have somehow merged with the wall rather than crashing into it. Beyond these phenomena, there is a standard violence I was expecting to see. There's a limp arm sticking out from underneath the wreckage and more blood. I see no signs of an explosion, which makes me wonder just how this happened. Seeing the aftermath is sickening enough, but it makes me wonder if Amy saw it while it was happening. Did you see what happened to those girders? Let's not ask her how the people died. Let's not bring that to her mind. Only caught a glimpse of it, she says. It was like trying to focus your eyes on something that was too close. They just started twisting, but not creaking or breaking. It's like these creatures are able to deform matter. She pauses here, and that's when we hear something echo through the facility. It comes from behind us and is slightly to the right. I'm not sure what it is, but it makes my blood feel like ice. It sounds almost like static from an AM radio. There's a high-pitched noise beneath it that I can't even start to fathom. What the hell is that? I ask, instantly clapping my hands to my ears. One of them, Amy says, her voice a whisper. One of those creatures. That's what they sound like? Dennis asks. I can see he's leaning against the wall again, wincing at the noise. I suddenly realize that I have a death grip on the rifle, ready to shoot at the next thing I see. Anything between us and them? Not really, she says. None of the hallways are blocked off by secure doors. Everyone seems to take this as a cue to start moving again. We make our way around the office wreckage, now with a new purpose and our steps. We barely make it to the other side of the room, approaching a dark hallway when another high-pitched noise sounds out. This one is louder, closer. We all share a terrified look, and I can tell that Amy is on the verge of losing it. I grip the rifle tightly as we head towards the hallway in front of us. I don't think she knows that. How much further to the hangar? That's the important thing. Close, she says. It's just at the end of this hallway. Dennis speaks up, his voice like ice. Why don't we just haul ass then? No one says anything after that, but I can feel the presence of terror around us, pressing in on us like a new violent gravity. Let me just check chat really quick. Oh, Golden, hello, welcome! Hopefully your day and night's been going well depending on your time zone. I'm sorry. Sorry I didn't notice you sooner. But let's continue on. It's very lovely. The pipe is leaking blood. The small utility hallway is well lit. Looks as if it was designed to be here only be used by select maintenance workers. What goes on in this area, I ask. I'm looking at Marcus as I ask the questions, but he only shrugs in response. She might know, he replies, pointing to Amy. I've never been down here before. It's just the utility hallway, Amy says, but at the end there is a maintenance room. There should be a gun or two in there. It is also the most direct path to the hangar entrance. As we walk quickly and quietly down the hall, I take a glimpse ahead and I feel the hair on the back of my neck stand on end. The lights become more sparsely spaced, and it's impossible to see just how far the hall extends into the darkness. This hallway has the occasional traces of bloodshed, but nothing like the main area we've come from. We continue farther down, and just as I begin to see what looks like a large metal door further ahead, I hear yet another shrill sound. This one sounds farther away, but no less demonic. How many of these things did you see? Dennis asks Amy. 3. That's just what I saw. There could be more. What did they look like? Dennis asks. Let's see. Oh, MLG? Yes, we can definitely see the new icon. It looks awesome. Yeah, what are we dealing with? I don't even know how to explain them, she says. Monsters. That's the only word I can think of. My mind seems to struggle with just trying to understand what I was seeing. They're big and they seem to jerk around every few feet or so. They look like they're made of light. That's about all I know for sure. You know, my ex-husband always said I'd let my work kill me, she continues, seemingly unable to stop herself. I mean, I doubt he'd imagine this exact scenario, but still. As we make our way to the hangar doors, another high-pitched noise rings out, angrier now. Amy stops walking, causing all of us to stop and turn to her. We have to do something to slow those things down, she says. No, Marcus snaps. There's no time. We need to distance ourselves and get to the hangar, fast. Amy ignores him deep in thought. There's an old hydraulic door set into the wall right here, she says. Hasn't been used for years, though. She looks to me, pleading her case. Together, we might be able to pull it closed behind us and keep those things back. Those old hydraulic doors weighs a ton, Marcus says. There's no way it'll work. Roger, Amy says. What do you think? They'll have a harder time getting to us if these doors are locked. Look, Marcus shouts, turning to me. We need to get to the hangars now. Okay. Could we get Marcus to take Dennis to the hangar while we close the door? I kind of agree. It'd be a lot easier if we close the door and try our best to keep going. Damn it, Marcus says. We don't have time for this. Amy ignores him and starts feeling along the hallway wall for a groove. Dennis and I start looking as well. A minute passes. Then I see a small metal frame that runs to the floor, from the floor to the ceiling. Is that it? I ask. Yes, Amy says. I look to the floor and I see an old metal track that runs along the frame. Let's move it, I say. Amy, Dennis, and I start pulling as hard as we can, but it barely budges an inch. Behind us, the static noise rings out again. My heart seems to stutter, and Marcus lets out a little whine. We're running out of time. We need to go, Marcus screams. Those things are getting closer every second. Help us, Marcus. It won't make a difference, he says. Shut up and help us, and then we'll find out, I shout. Reluctantly, Marcus walks over and grasps the door. We all groan as we strain to pull. It starts inching slowly and then begins to move steadily. Once we get started, it slides easily. As we near the wall, closing off the hallway behind us, I think I can see in the merest glimpse of an odd illuminated shape in the darkness. It's cut off by the slight thump of the hydraulic door being pushed against the frame in the opposite wall. Amy turns the lock into place. Great. Now let's haul ass, says Marcus. As we all turn to get moving again, still feeling unsure about our prospects. The fact that yet another shrill noise sounds out elsewhere in the facility is not calming. And then there are two of them. It's almost like they're calling out to one another. The door to the hangars sit up ahead like the entrance to some enormous labyrinth. When we reach the hangar door, I get the true sense of how impenetrable they are. A computer terminal is mounted on the wall nearby and is blinking a red light. Any idea what this means, I ask? It's an automatic lock, a failsafe from the lockdown, says Amy. I've never been down here before, Marcus says. If I had known that this door was here, I would have opened it earlier. How? Amy asks. The fear in her voice is more present than ever. From the command center, he says. You need to override from there first. Then use this terminal to open the hangar doors. The command center is on the second floor, I ask? Yeah. Amy shakes her head and lets out a nervous laugh. Are you kidding me? She asks. We just pulled that hydraulic door and blocked off the hallway, remember? If you want to get into the hangar, we have to go back to the command center, Marcus says. Isn't there another way? Turning to Marcus, Amy replies, well, there is another elevator, but we'll need to get through the biochem storage. I need to stay with Dennis so he can rest, I say. You two go. You know your way around this place. And you know the controls, Marcus. Fine, Marcus says, but we'll need to be armed. Crap, who do we give the gun to? I guess Amy is more stable here, and Marcus is crazy. But we also haven't been trusting Marcus as much as we've been trusting Amy. Huh. What do you guys say? We give the gun to Amy, and she's more emotionally stable. Or mentally stable, but we also don't know her enough. There is Marcus, who we have been talking to more. He does seem crazy, but maybe if we trust him, he'll be fine. Fuck. Give Amy the gun? I'd like to. Maybe Amy is the better option. Well, while I'm waiting, I'm gonna go ahead and take a sip of my drink. Maybe Amy is the better bet. Sorry, Marcus. I hand Amy the rifle and she turns to go. Marcus gives me a concerned look but follows along behind her. Once Amy and Marcus make a good distance down the hallway, Dennis lets out a nervous laugh. And then there were two, he says. Dennis looks much better, but he still needs to use the wall to stay standing. Didn't Amy say that there were guns and emergency kits in the maintenance room near the hangar doors, I ask? Yeah, I think so, Dennis says, looking exhausted. I look ahead and see a door to the right that reads maintenance. Might as well give it a try. I go to the door, try to open it, to find it's locked. Didn't we damage our shoulder? No, we damaged our knee. Let's push it with our shoulder. I give it a hard shove, but it doesn't budge. I'm about to try it again, but that's when I hear a gunshot from just down the hallway. My first thought is that Amy and Marcus have come upon one of those things, one of the monsters. But I don't hear any of that strange static sound I've come to associate with them. Alarm bells go off in my head, and before I know it, I'm headed back down the hall, away from the hangar doors. Stay here. I'll be right back, I whisper over my shoulder to Dennis. See if you can figure out how to get in that maintenance room. Where are you going? He asks. I don't bother answering him as I bound through the doors where Amy and Marcus went. PK Gamer, hello, welcome. Hopefully your day is going well, depending on your time zone. As I enter the biochem room and start walking between the massive silos, I wonder what classified chemicals could be inside of them. I'm fully expecting to see one of Amy's creatures come flying out of nowhere, flying from the intersection of the halls up ahead. I think I overhear a voice, a woman's voice. It's Amy. Stop. Let go of the gun. I run ahead so fast that I almost trip over two people in a life or death struggle. My mind tries to process what I'm seeing, but it makes no sense, not at all. Marcus is wrestling with Amy, trying to take the gun away from her. When this doesn't work, he throws her to the ground and starts choking her. Her face is turning purple, her eyes look like they might pop out of her head. Marcus seems to be sees me coming from out of the hallway, but acts as if what he's doing is perfectly normal. Stop, we gotta stop him. I rush forward to him before I really know what I'm doing. I bring my fist down and say, oh no, don't punch him. And I'm rewarded with a sick cracking sound. He cries out as he falls to the ground, looking at me as if he doesn't understand why I punched him. On the floor, Amy clutches her neck and gasps for breath. I start to fear that I was a moment too late, just as I see that the rifle has been thrown across the floor. Marcus seems to notice this at the exact same moment I do. Going for the rifle, I guess. I'd like to actually talk to him. We both go for the rifle at once. He takes a single stumbling step forward towards it, wobbling a bit from my punch. I dive for it when I hit the floor. It feels like I'm a baseball player trying to steal third. Our hands both fall onto it, but when I yank it away, he manages to kick me, knocking the rifle onto the floor again. The kick catches me squarely in my ribs, knocking the breath out of me. What the hell are you doing? He yells at me. By killing her, I'm saving us. All of this was her fault. I sense that he truly believes this, but if that's the case, then why not just attack her when we were all together? The answer is simple. We might have stopped him. He wanted to kill her in private. Then what? Would he have done the same to Dennis and me? Seems fitting, really. When we first came upon Marcus, he held a gun to us. Well, on us. I've been so relieved to see another human that I'd underestimated just how unhinged he was. Marcus and I both dive for the rifle, still laying on the floor, and start wrestling for possession. But I'm not confident I'll come away with it. As we're struggling, he starts inching at the muzzle of the gun towards my face, a position that I do not want to be in. I start pushing back hard. But if this thing accidentally fires, I'm not sure where I'd prefer the bullet to go, especially in this room filled with chemical tanks. I guess if he sees it towards himself, he'll stop. God damn it, Marcus. I grunt as I push the muzzle to point towards his face. Realizing he's literally looking down the barrel of a gun, Marcus ducks his head out of the way. This makes him lose leverage, allowing me to yank the gun from his grip. I get to my feet as quickly as I can, swinging the rifle back around on him. For a moment, I think I've knocked him out, but his eyes flutter and he looks at me as if I've betrayed him. Her people, he says. It was them that did this. She deserves to die. She did this. I look to Amy and wish I could help her. I'm relieved to see that she's managing to draw in a few breaths. Her legs move as she tries to push herself into a sitting position. You wouldn't know, Marcus says. You didn't work here under their secrecy. You don't know what it's like to. He surprises me by lunging towards me, leaping from the floor like a human projectile. I don't have time to aim carefully. I have to react fast. My instinct would be to try to dodge. God damn, I don't want to hurt him. His aim is poor and his strength is failing, so I dodge him easily. I don't want to have a gunshot go off and alert those creatures to where... Oh, that's also another good point. Make a hard jab at the butt of the rifle, striking him in the chest. Something crunches and he lets out a whoosh of air. He crumples for a moment, then goes up to his knees. He roars in pain on the floor, only for after a few moments, I realize that they're not purely screams of pain. The bastard is calling for them, calling for those creatures to come for us. This place is evil, along with everyone involved, he wails from the floor. If you're taking her side, then you deserve to die too. If you want to stop me, you'd better do it now, you coward. The rage in his eyes at Amy, as well as towards me for stopping him, makes me think that he'll deliver on his threat. I raise the rifle again, every urge in my body wanting to make sure that he doesn't come back to bite us. But I'm not a violent man. I could easily not kill him and just leave him behind. Dude, he doesn't... He's just scared. He's scared and he's endangering all of us. Can't kill him. Just like when I could barely shoot earlier as he was coming at me, I can't bring myself to deliver a kill shot. I ignore him and lean down to Amy. You okay? I ask. She nods slowly. Have to go, she says, her voice raspy. They'll be here any minute. Too much noise. I have to hold her arm so she can get to her feet. We start forward, and then I think of Dennis. We should go back to the hangar doors, I say. I can't just leave Dennis there. There's no time, Amy says. You'll need to come with me to the command center. Now. We'll be back for him soon. We're all dead now anyway, Marcus shrieks. If they don't get you, I will. He laughs manically after saying this, hooting like a madman. As if in response, a high-pitched noise tears through the hallway. I seem to feel it in my bones. They're following his noise now, Amy says, her voice still weak. She takes off away from Marcus, presumably towards the other elevator she had mentioned moments ago. I follow her. As we move out, I hear Marcus slowly push himself off the ground and stumble off, slipping in between the tanks and disappearing. We start running after the first few strides, and another noise sounds out. It sounds mechanical, but at the same time, it also reminds me of recordings I've heard of whale songs. The sound of metallic creaking, crashing echoes through the doors I come in through. They've reached the hydraulic door we pulled, Amy says, confirming what I'm thinking. The sound grows a bit louder, and it's clear they're struggling with it, which is good. We have a bit more time. I speed up my step to follow Amy as she leads the way through the other elevator. She's panting furiously, but pushes on. I can hear something rattling in her breath, likely a result of Marcus' attack. This makes me imagine his cold, uncaring eyes must have looked, staring down at her as he tried to deliver her death. How she's still forging on is beyond me. I'm sorry about Marcus, I say. It's not your fault, she interrupts. At least you handed me the gun. Just hope we can find a way to survive this mess. We'll be fine. Don't worry. I'm not so sure, she says, her eyes fixed straight ahead. I'm not sure I can blame her. I just wanted to say something encouraging, I guess. We finally come to the elevator at the end of the row of silos. The elevator door slides open. At that moment, we hear something behind us, a strange sort of whistling noise. We step inside and turn around to face the biochem room, thankful we've been given a few moments to spare. The elevator doors remain open for 3 seconds before they start to slide close again. In those 3 seconds, I see a large shape floating towards us. Phosphorescent words, like white, glow outlines, an impossible shape. Behind it, I see another shape that also entered the biochem room, and another. The third one breaks away from the other two, taking a quick right. It moves with an eerie speed. And that is the direction Marcus has gone. Honestly, the thought of them hunting him down doesn't bother me the slightest. Amy is pressing the button to close the elevator door over and over, but they stay open for what seems like an eternity. Let me double check something really quick. Okay. Let's hide inside the elevator doors. Amy and I slide ourselves up against the side of the elevator doors, trying to avoid being seen, but I can't help peeking around the corner. I hold the rifle steady, ready to fire, and that's when I see a clear light for the first time. I can see their features, their shapes, and their colors, but my mind can't quite process it all. Nothing about them makes any sense. My eyes try to see a squid, but that's not what these things are. They're gray and white, and they seem to be nothing more than squirming light. Their appendages are neither legs nor tentacles, but somewhere in between. They don't walk on their appendages, but they use them to glide. They move like ghosts, and they seem to jerk every few feet or so. But I'm pretty sure that this jerking effect is not the result of their moving, but my mind's inability to understand how they're moving exactly. It's also more of their appearance makes a mockery of reality. The light around them seems to bend inward, as if the space within the room has to reshape itself for their existence. That peculiar effect in the air makes their movement seem like moving is underwater, only faster. I check the rifle and see that my ammo is diminishing. I have to start saving my shots. I'm gonna have to be choosy. Shoot the creature. Now that a foot remains between... there we go. Now about a foot remains between the sliding doors. I find my muscles reacting instinctively again. I pull the trigger. Shot fills the elevator and there's a thunder in my ears. I hit the thing... I hit the thing in its center and its reaction is not what I expect. Monster pauses and spasms for about 2 seconds. Its body of light flickers for a moment, similar to a light bulb on the brink of burning out. My fingers keep pulling the trigger. The throb of the rifle in my hands is comforting, and each screech from the creature is like music. Then I realize that this only seems to be slowing it down. Its tentacles seem to tighten and then loosen, like a weird muscle reflex. Then it's on the move again, unharmed by the shots. Finally, the elevator door closes. The creatures wash against the other side of the door, making an electrical noise and crying out in anger. The tips of their spider-like appendages poke through the wall in the elevator doors, but for some reason they can't get all the way through. Amy screams at this and curls into a ball at the far corner of the elevator, crying. I say nothing to her. I just cling to the rifle, hoping those creatures don't find Dennis as he waits by the hangar door where I left him. For his sake and ours, we need to open them now. That's the end of chapter 3. So I just want to see our stats, and then I'm going to end the stream here. I'm sorry I'm not going to show art tonight, but I'll get back to that. Okay, so we told... so 59% told Dennis he'd be okay. Only 35% decided with Amy? On the hydraulic doors. 58. Okay. That's actually really interesting. But hopefully you guys are finding this as interesting as I am. I'm going to go ahead and end it here. Thank you guys so much for joining. I don't know when the next time I'll be able to stream is. Streaming has been sporadic. Hopefully it'll be soon, but until then, take care, guys.